Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to the free market video here for the election week. I'm recording this on Friday afternoon on the 4th after the close, but this is actually going to be for Monday's trade beginning the 7th of November with election day just a day behind that, the 8th. And I want to show you something that I really want you to pay attention to and be prepared for if you decide to partake in the trade first part of this week. And that would be to point out the expected move for the week. We're looking at about 70 points worth of trade in the S&P futures, and if you go all the way out into the end of the next week, you can see it's only another 15 points. And so what I'm pointing out is obviously there's some pretty high anticipated volatility for next week. All right, and you take a look at where we are right now and you say, well, does that mean higher or lower? And I'm going to tell you, and I really do mean this, I don't mean to sound funny or cute, I think yes, the answer is yes, and I mean higher and lower. There's nothing here yet that says to me that this is likely over. Now it could be, but I don't see it. I see bearish indications yet. That you have to imagine this candle was green once, obviously, in its life, right? And during the formation of that, the sellers responded at the higher prices, and they said, "Oh, this is great." So the buyers ran out of steam, and the sellers took over, and they sat it down, and it closes down here at the lows, and that's bearish, right? The wick on the top, the weak close right there, that's bearish. And preceding it just before, that was, obviously that's bearish, and this is a huge range candle just preceding it. Obviously, that's quite bearish. We've got a descending trend line here. You can kind of form a little bit of a wedge right there that's been broken to the downside. It's bearish. So there will be a price down here. I've got an idea, but it doesn't really matter given the volatility expected next week. I don't think it really matters. You just need to know the expected move and know that that we're in for some pretty wide range trade next week. So I'd look for, if this thing is to bottom out and you want an idea what it looks like, because we've targeted the 2080s on the break, and here they are. We've talked about it. I mean, how many times have we talked about it in this video, right? The 200 move higher, the 100 point retracement to the 2080, the 5% correction, the voodoo line, everything that pointed to this 2080 trade. Well, there it is finally. Okay, now that we're at target, you say, okay, was this it? We done? And we talked about this in the room today. I said, no, I mean, it doesn't look like it. There's nothing here that said, that it looks like it's done, especially not in the wake of the anticipated volatility next week on the event. So, you got 2 down, 1 to go. Okay, you got the Fed out of the way, and we got the payroll report out of the way, and now we got the election. So 2 down, 1 to go. And I'll tell you, if you want to know what a bottom would likely look like here, we haven't seen it, but it would be a stab down that leaves a wick on the bottom with a retracement that then closes firm on and has a tight body on the top of it, would even be better, with a long wick, a tail on the bottom, and then the very next session would need to breach the high of that and start the retracement higher. That's what it would likely look like to me anyway, and I don't see that. I don't see any indication of that yet. It would look like something like that right there, a stab down, a tight body on the top, a strong close, and what happens? Boom, up she goes. Very next day, up it went. Don't see any of that over here on the right. And so you know what to look for. That it's going to be highly volatile in all likelihood. I mean, it's proposed as priced in on the options chain. You can see it. And I will leave you with this as I head over into the premium video, because we got a lot of stuff over there to look at. We got to look at the dollar and the treasuries. There's trades there, and gold trade there. Crude looks like a trade there. There's a bunch of trades setting up, but and they they give and lend clues to what to look for over here. Doesn't always work out, of course, but there's some clues over there that that say that this is not done. Okay, so look for a little stab lower yet, and if we are to bottom out here and head higher, it's going to likely look like something like I pointed out on the left right there, and that is a stab down, tight body on the top, strong close. Next session will breach the top, and off we go. But we're not there yet. Okay, so answer, to the question, Jeopardy, we're there yet? Answer no. No. Good trade next week. Be careful. It's going to be a wild ride. And we are doing in the Simpler Options forum, if you want to check in on the Simpler Options homepage, we are doing an election trade session that John Carter and Rogie Horner are hosting for the event that Tuesday night. And I know I heard Rogie today talking about some trades that she's got planned out. It sounded really interesting too, I got to tell you. Some trades that she's got planned out based on some of the closing exit polls on some of the various key focus states, like Florida, North Carolina, etc. So as those are closing, she's got some ideas and some currencies, and then John, of course, will have some ideas and some index futures, and there you go. So check it out. Simpler Options homepage if you want to trade with us on the election night. It ought to be a blast. Look forward to seeing you there. Good trading next week. Be careful. You see the expected move. It's going to be a wild ride. And till then, look forward to being with you at the next update. Good night.